All right, welcome to the March 8th, 2021 Jamestown Rotary meeting. Please welcome Kevin Sixby, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States
of America,
and
and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
and four-way test. Is it the truth?
Is it the
Is it
truth?
truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will
it
it
build
build
goodwill and better
friendships?
friendships?
And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And
will it be
Will it be
to all
beneficial?
concerned?
All
concerned.
And will I get caught?
We just did.
Greg, way to ruin a moment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So please welcome Sue Jones, who will give our invocation.
Will you please bow your heads this morning? Lord, bless this gathering of fellow Rotarians today. Please help us to see those in need and give us the strength and wisdom to serve our community as we should. Help us to lift the burdens of others while we maintain the dignity of mankind. Soften our hearts to be sensitive and loving as we serve together as Rotarians. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Visiting Rotarians and guests. Well, I see our speakers here. Kristen McMahon, welcome. Joelle Washer's here. Haven't seen her name in a while. Any other visitors? Oh, Jake Schrantz is here. Fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Nora Schrantz, welcome. I don't see any others. Okay. Announcements. I'd like to recognize the Rotarily Yours recorder, Ruth Lundeen. She's able to be here. Any committee chair announcements?
Is Ruth here?
She was the last time I was here.
I'm here momentarily, but I'm not recording. I think Sue's recording.
I'm recording.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Gotcha.
Sue is doing everything but my job today.
No.
No. So committee chair announcements.
I will just remind the Literacy Committee, we have a Zoom meeting Thursday at noon. And be ready, folks, because we're working on a couple projects that can include everybody in the club. So you'll get more news in the weeks ahead.
Wonderful. Kathy Benson has had to resign as the Invocation Committee chairperson, and she's done it for a few years. So because her work demands it, she cannot get on to the meeting, so she had to resign. So Sue Jones, she's still in the club. Kathy's still in the club. She just isn't Invocation chairperson. Sue Jones stepped up, and she will be managing the committee until July 1st.
And thank you to everybody who signed up. We've got them all lined up until July 1st.
Yep, already.
Yep.
And along those lines, I'm going to repeat this again. Our club is in need of a treasurer. July 1st, we'd like you to start. If you have any interest, please let me know as soon as possible. It's a very important job.
We'll be paying in goodwill and better friendships.
All right. Well, Chris. Oh, yes, Sue.
I received this the other day and I want you all to see it. I hope.
100. It's Moonbrook 100.
Yes. It's a flag that they have on their on the holes.
Mm-hmm.
And it celebrates their 100th anniversary. And of course, all of you remember that we founded Moonbrook Country Club. And so, Strons, help me.
Jason.
Jason Strons made sure that the club got this. He's the head of the golf committee.
Oh, yes, yes.
So I will take this down to our offices and make sure that we save it carefully. It's absolutely beautiful. It's done in gold embroidery, and it honors the 100th birthday of Moonbrook Country Club.
Nice. Any other announcements? Mike, you trying to talk to us?
Is Jason Mike's grandson?
Yes.
Yes.
There we go. There's another Rotary connection.
Uh-huh.
All right. If there aren't any other announcements, Chris is going to share a video with us of something that happened this past week. Pretty exciting.
We'll take our masks off.
Yeah.
Okay, but today we won't. First, I would really like to welcome you all to this Paul Harris presentation. We're not meeting in person, and you guys don't know that, but we're Zooming. So I really want to thank you for letting us Zoom from your facility. I mean, it's really a good thing. Not everybody here is in Rotary, so some of my comments will include a description of what our foundation does, but I will warn you that it's very brief. So, presenting the new Paul Harris Fellow is actually one of the favorite things I like to do. The Paul Harris Fellow is not an award, but it is a recognition of a $1,000 contribution to the Rotary Foundation, and is almost also a recognition of that person's contribution to Rotary or many other causes, be it local or international. Our Rotary Foundation has assets of $2.8 billion, and the last reported year of giving money out in grants was over $86 million. So we give out a lot of money every single year. Our Jamestown Club has 271 Paul Harris Fellows. And those we have donated as club to the foundation almost $400,000. So that's really a great program for Rotary and a great program to help people. If we add the overall support of the Jamestown Rotary Club to local and international projects to that foundation monies, it adds up to over $1.5 million that Jamestown Rotary Club has given to support good things happening throughout the world and here. So, being a member of Rotary, I've always felt is an honor to be a member of Rotary, and it gives me an opportunity to serve, and I'm just happy to do it. So, our presentation today is through the generous donation of $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation by one of our members, Gail Donis. Gail cannot be with us here today because she was in the wintertime out of town. But Gail is a great supporter of Rotary, and Gail and her past husband, Dan McGinnis, who was our club secretary, were great Rotarians and very committed to Rotary. And actually they are something belonging to the Rotary Benefactor and Major Donor Societies. And I asked Gail, I said, Gail, can I at least discuss that? And she said, I don't know. I don't, you do what you want to do. Well, that was a good opportunity for me. So I don't think it's a secret we should keep, because they're great people. And so actually they have given via those two methods over $125,000 to Rotary. So good people do good things, and those certainly, Dan, great guy, his wife is great also. So months ago, Gail came to me, she said, you know, I have the Rotary opportunity to give a Paul Harris Fellow, but I don't know who I want to give it to, because I would like to give one away. Can you help me? And I said, of course, I'd be happy to. So I gave her 4 names of individuals, some Rotarians and some not, who would be really good recipients of a Paul Harris Fellow. And that brings us to what's going on today. So I'm going to give you a little bit of hints about who is going to get a Paul Harris Fellow today. And the first thing I'm going to say is The person receiving this Paul Harris Fellow is in this room, but is not aware they're going to receive a Paul Harris Fellow. This person actually works at the CRCF in a very important position. This person is a working minority at the CRCF. This person is not a native of Jamestown. Interestingly, this person met their spouse 31 years ago at JCC, thanks to their last names. Thanks to their last names. Thanks to their last names beginning with the letter F. So, it's kind of like now, you know, that the person getting it is our Chief Financial Officer, Jake. So Jake is an active volunteer and has been Assistant Scoutmaster, I believe, in Beavis Point. And I believe Jake himself is a Life Scout.
Yes.
And he also now is very active in the Safety Patrol at Holiday Valley. Back when Rotary was going through their End Polio campaign, one thing that our local district set up was a bike ride challenge to raise money to defeat polio. And so, as a club, we needed a bike rider who was in shape. Because in order to do that, they wanted the bike rider to go a long, long distance. So I said, what can we do? What can we do? And somebody came up with a great idea. You know, Jake is a bike rider. So Jake and his friend John Selo jumped at the chance to raise money for our polio program. So they did, through their bike rides, raise $4,500. That will inoculate, well, actually they raised $1,500, but the Bill Gates Foundation matched it and turned that $1,500 into $4,500. And that $4,500 will inoculate 1,500 children throughout the world who will never, ever know polio. So, it's really a fun day, and I just am thrilled to give this Paul Harris to Jake, and I know Gail is sad she's not here, but it's just a wonderful opportunity. And the first thing I would like to do is to invite Tori up here, and Tori, could you present Jake with his certificate?
I'm
overwhelmed.
Wow.
Thank you, thank you.
Jake thought he was tricking me,
Yes.
and then
And
we
well
tricked
deserved
him.
of it.
So here you are, Jake. Sue would like you over here.
Thank
you. I've been down this path. This is absolutely well-deserved.
Thank you, Rotary. Thank you. I'm not deserving of it.
Sarah, are you doing something?
Jake.
Okay?
Right.
And I'm going to get a Rotary pin, and I'm putting a hole in your shirt, and I don't care. Actually, I think I just put a hole in my finger. Usually these end up on the floor. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, thank you. I'm not deserving of this. So.
And Nora, if you would give this nice medallion to your husband, and you can put it around his neck, and if you want to give him a little pet, go for it.
Thank you.
And the last thing I did, I poked my finger, I believe. The last thing I have is, that I will give you, is a list of fellow Paul Harris Fellows from the Jamestown Club. And on that list, you are going to be joining some very important people in Jamestown, past and present. A few of those names are John D. Hamilton, Reg and Elizabeth Linnae, Dan Lincoln, Sam Palladino, Michael Strons, Roger Torres Peterson, Randy Sweetie, and Tori Ergay, just to name a few.
How are you guys?
So welcome.
Yes. Thank you, thank you.
You betcha.
Mike is smiling, we know that.
What's that?
Mike
Oh,
is
yeah,
smiling.
yeah,
yes.
I'm not deserving of this. I mean, you folks asked if I would do that right. You know, in my friend's memory, and certainly Mike's service to the club and everything that, I know Mike really loved the club a lot.
Now, there is one last thing I have to tell you. I'm not so sure I like it on tape, but it's a tradition that tonight when you go to bed, you put your medallion over your jammies and you wear it tonight. Only once is all you have to do. It's not comfortable, but it's fine.
Where did Rotary come up with that?
Oh, that's a great
When
I was gonna say, or the Lions Club.
When they gave the crazy guy this job.
Thank you, everyone. This is overwhelming, truly overwhelming, and not deserving of the award.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. What was going on today, and I said, I gotta bring Tori downstairs, I gotta think of something. She said, what are you gonna say? And I said, maybe to tell her that one of the toilets, had an issue. No. So I asked Liz, I mean, this is my plan, and she's looking at me, you gotta come up with something better than that. So,
I say, Jake, what do you want me to do? You fix the toilet.
I wouldn't wanna go down and deal with it, So anyway, thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed, not deserving of the award.
Oh, you are.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Happy to see you on that list.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
overwhelmed. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
Well deserved, Jake.
I'm enjoying my medal.
Jake, you're the man.
It was a
Now,
little
of course-
scratchy to wear.
Now, of course, you'll get a link to every meeting, so we expect you to come.
No, I'd be honored.
All right,
Great group.
would you please introduce Marion? You're still muted.
Yeah, no happy bucks. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Happy Bucks. I'm sorry. Wait,
It's okay.
sorry. You're right, Marion.
No, that's looks like
Randy has a
Randy's
happy
got.
Well, I have
Go ahead.
a couple things, and probably this, I'm gonna put in $5 for all this. One, I want to certainly add my congratulations and thanks to Jake. Many of you, and I know, I can see Tim's picture here, he's waiting too. Tim and I know, and the rest of you know just what a great guy Jake is, and was such a pleasure working with Jake for the time I was at the Community Foundation. And secondly, I heard on the radio today that today is National Women's Day. So I wanted to honor the fact that, if you think of this club, what would this club be if it did not have the ladies that are so much part of it and so much in a leadership role? And, I could go around the neighborhood and think of all the nonprofits. I mean, we're honored today with the presentation to Jackson Center. Those ladies do a great job. And certainly CRCF, and it goes on and on. So join me in certainly celebrating the women in our community today.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah.
I have a happy buck.
Okay.
Congratulations, Jake. As you were speaking, John's wife text messaged me, and we're gonna have coffee today. So I would like to give $5 to your Paul Harris, and I will certainly share today's meeting with Barb.
Thank you, Stacy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. So Nora, you're part of this too, with both your mom and dad, and your dad being such a wonderful Rotarian. So you both are part of this family. Jake and John and I skied quite a lot together. We biked quite a lot together, and we would always yell, both John and I would be yelling at Jake, would you please slow down? We need to catch up. But you can surely hear the humility in Jake's voice. So there's nobody that is more deserving of something like this than Jake, and I'm proud of you for this, Jake. And congratulations, well deserved. So that's a happy $5 for me. How's that?
Thank you, Tim. That's great to hear. Thank you. You're a great friend.
Other Happy Bucks?
Yeah, I'd like to give a happy $5. On Friday, Paul and I celebrated our Liberation Day. We were 2 weeks after our second shots. So
All right.
Whoa.
Good for you. Tori or Becky, would you like to talk about the article that was in the paper for the Hebrew congregation donation to the Johnson BPU Good Neighborhood or Good Neighbor Fund?
Well, is Tori here?
It was.
Okay, well, the Hebrew congregation of Chautauqua Institution wanted to do something for the local area. And as you may or may not know, the state has put, I don't know, I'm going nuts here, but the BPU, all utilities are unable to disconnect anyone who has not paid their BPU bill. And there are many people that haven't been able to pay since the COVID began back in March. So we were lucky to get some help through our Good Neighbor Fund. In this case, from the Hebrew congregation, gave $2,000 through the Community Foundation to our Good Neighbor Fund to help people pay their BPU bills when they are unable to do so from a problem that they face. And so the Community Foundation featured us in the newspaper on Saturday to thank the Hebrew congregation. So,
thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Any other happy bucks before we roll into the Jackson Center? All right.
Well, I'll preview.
Go ahead.
No.
Well, Stacey, do you want to introduce Marion or do we want to just roll to Marion?
Okay, Marion.
Hi,
Marion
Stacy.
Beckerink, she oversees, I think we know, the center's development activities and contributes to the planning and direction of its fundraising efforts. Marion provides strategy and vision for the center and its board of directors in support of the president and in conjunction with their staff. Marion is a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She recently moved to Jamestown from Cleveland, Ohio, where she was a staff attorney for the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio for 15 years, analyzing and researching complex legal issues. Draft proposed memorandum for the court from 1994 to 1999. Prior to her career with the federal court, Marion was the administrative contracting officer for the Department of Defense, negotiating forward pricing rate agreements. Marion began her career as assistant director of admissions of Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Marion is admitted to practice in Ohio U.S. District Court, North District of Ohio, and New York. She is also a member of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Marion lives in Jamestown with her husband, with whom she enjoys traveling off-highway trips throughout the country. Her son works as a musician in New York City. We welcome you today, Marion, a Rotary member, at our weekly meeting for a virtual tour of the Robert H. Jackson Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. I have to confess that I actually asked a professional to give you a tour who would be our president, Kristen McMahon. So the welcome is actually to Kristen. And if I may, I'd like to welcome Kristen to our Rotary and give a happy bucks to welcome the Rotarians back to the Jackson Center. We miss you. And if I may, I will give a brief introduction of Kristen McMahon, and I believe she has control of the program right now. Kristen has served as president of the Jackson Center since 2019. She was a former principal with Vetted Solutions. It's an executive search firm specializing in association and nonprofit recruiting and consulting in Washington, D.C., where she guided transformational processes for the company's executive searches. She previously was corporate counsel for Verizon. Kristen is a proud Bonnie graduate and a graduate of American University College of Law. I'd like to welcome Kristen McMahon, a native of Pittsburgh. We're sorry for this season, Kristen.
Thank you. I appreciate your condolences on football, although for basketball, Bonaventure's doing okay right now. So
this we know.
I'm going to focus on that. Thank you very much, Marian. I appreciate the warm welcome, and it's nice to see your faces again, Rotary. Miss seeing you around the center. I am going to share my screen. As I find the video. Never fully realized just how many windows I have open. So I look to share. That's interesting. It's actually not showing up. Okay, hold on 1 second. Just bear with me, please. Okay. Can everybody see that? All right, so this is our new entrance, which was made possible through the DRI grant. And we will do a little bit of a pan here in a moment so you can see how it blends in with the mansion and with the theater that was there. And what this really has done for us is given us a much more welcoming and open and inviting space for visitors. It's also given us some greater flexibility in what we can do in this space. And so I look forward to showing this to you. It's a very windy day Friday. So you're greeted by Justice Jackson when you come into the center now. And we are still in the process of decorating this space, but this will become some modular space for exhibits. We plan on moving some of the Heinz Awards to this space as well, because the crystal will refract the light nicely. And we'll have some kiosks here to have scrolling pictures so you understand what it is that the Jackson Center does when you come through the door. This is also great new entertaining space. And even for those of you who remember the old entrance, it was very dark wood, but now it is bright and light. As you can see, our docent desk has moved into this new space as well. And the elevator, which honestly took the bulk of the DRI money, now enables access to the second floor of the center, which makes that more accessible, and we're thrilled to have that opportunity to be able to utilize those spaces better upstairs for classrooms, for people to use as temporary office space, teachers to come in. You're going to get a glimpse of my makeshift studio for the Jackson Center weekly or biweekly teas. And we're back downstairs and can see the space, the other half of the space. It's a lovely mirrored image. And for those of you who have visited us for programs, and we now have a dedicated coat closet, which we are just excited about from a space perspective and a professional perspective to be able to offer something that looks like that. We've actually already had some conversations with the Board of Elections about using our space as one of the early voting sites. Looking forward to people coming into the center for a variety of reasons. During the last year, we've actually been quite fortunate to host a number of local gatherings. So the Human Rights Commission had its first meeting in our banquet room. We've also hosted a program for the sheriffs called Walking While Black. That was a community discussion about race relations in Jamestown. And for each of these, what I heard from people who came into the center was, can I come back here anytime? Or we didn't realize how inviting this place was. And so that's just music to my ears that the community is coming in and really interested in coming back to see what we offer. So that is a very quick overview of some of the changes at the Jackson Center. And certainly if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I'll do one quick question. What was the total cost of the renovation?
So the total cost was about 1.3. So.
Oh, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So it looks like most of the renovation was focused around establishing that new entryway and the elevator and such. The rest of the center, I know that you have that great auditorium and of course the front rooms where everybody's working when you come in.
Yep.
Do we do anything to that, or this was solely focused on this entryway?
We added air conditioning to the mansion as well, which enables it to have better utilization and functionality during the summer. We are now starting to think through what are the renovations necessary to the second floor in order to start getting an understanding. This is all new to me. I've never needed to do this part of a capital campaign before, or this sort of architectural investigation. So I'm learning all the time. Yes, to figure out, we want to turn these rooms that are currently the offices on the first floor into exhibit and classroom space as well, and meeting space. So the modularity of them. So the offices will be moving upstairs. I don't have a time frame for that yet. As I said, we're just in the investigation phase at this, but that is sort of our next phase as to how are we making this space more adaptable for community and education purposes.
Yeah, I like that the Jackson Center is more accessible to the community, because I've always thought it's a nice way for your services to go hand in glove with what people need. For years, we as the Rotary Club used that space downstairs.
Yes.
And it was good for us because we had a big crowd, and it was one of the few places where we could all get together like that. Anybody using it now on a regular basis?
On a regular basis, no, although I'm not sure really anybody's been using any space on a regular basis for the last
Well, that's
year,
true,
so.
isn't it? Yeah, okay.
So yes, but as I said, we were very, in terms of social distancing, that space has enabled us to host, as I said, the Human Rights Commission and some community discussions as well. Working with the Board of Elections to become an early voting site, which is great, and thrilled that they thought of our space to do that as well.
Great. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Any
I
other?
was just,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
sure. I was just wondering what enticed you to come to our local community in the Jackson Center, and how long did it take you to find us?
So as Marion said, I went to St. Bonaventure University, so I was familiar-ish with the area. And I was a practicing attorney for 15 years. So when I knew I was interested in having a more functional role in nonprofit work, I had the great fortune of being able to be selective as to where I was looking and what I was looking for. Obviously, as a practicing attorney, Justice Jackson is someone I had been familiar with. I've long admired his writing. I did do a little bit of research because there were some historic points that were a little fuzzy, trying to get a sense of where he stood on a variety of issues. And there was just so much about the mission that resonated with me and that I thought I could help with. So it doesn't hurt that I've got a lot of college friends in the area as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
And I have one last question, and it may be more for Marianne because she's been here longer than you. But I just wondered how many visitors you have to the center. I would love to know how many out of town visitors you have, but what does a visitor usually count for the year at the Jackson Center?
That's a great question, and I appreciate it. Because we write grants as well for funding, that's a question that often comes up. How many folks actually do you reach in a calendar year? And we've found that 20,000 is our sweet spot. That's where it averages in terms of the people who come through, the number of programs we do, the amount of outreach that the center is involved in. It's really breathtaking. So COVID has been a huge shock for us. Financially, we haven't felt it because we don't charge admission. So it's not that we've dropped or lost that entry fee, but we've certainly missed the amount of traffic that comes in predominantly in the summer, but it's throughout the year. And a lot of people don't realize we have memoranda of understanding with 5 different universities. So including St. Bonaventure, Mercyhurst, University at Buffalo, Syracuse, the city of Nuremberg. And we use those memoranda to create opportunities for students to take classes. And that was actually the thrust of the DRI project, was to start with expanding the space. Before Kristen came, she couldn't appreciate how crowded that entryway used to become whenever there was a program. If you had a line, people were just kind of jammed in that space. So we had to start with opening that and then giving people access to the second floor, and then air conditioning the mansion, because it's a beautiful space, but anybody who's been there in the summer knows that it can be like a hot box without having air conditioning. So we're on the cusp of an exciting time in terms of where the Jackson Center's future will be. So all good.
Part of what I really like about what Marion said as well is that among our visitors are usually several thousand students each year. We have really great relationships with the local schools and even not so local schools. And so teachers will bring their classes here. We run programs specifically designed for students and to help with their history education or their civics education. And that's always fun. Plus our student interns during the summer. So we really like having that energy here as well.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Well, thank you, Marion. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Stacy, for setting it up. It's very interesting. It's a beautiful, beautiful improvement.
Yes, and we are open. So if you would like to come over and see it for yourself, please do.
I'll come over and you'll leave our fingerprints.
Perfect, perfect. Our docents are actively looking to give tours. They get very excited when people are coming in.
We appreciate your work and the interesting tour. We will make a donation to the Rotary International Polio Plus Fund in your name.
Thank you.
And you will help stamp out polio in our lifetime, hopefully.
Thank you.
Next Monday, we will be hearing from the Children's Advocacy Program. Beth Oakes, the executive director, will be speaking to us, and one of her program managers about human trafficking in the area. So we hope you'll join us. And with that, remember, Rotary opens opportunities. And what opportunities are you going to see this week to help your community? We're adjourned. Bye, everybody.
Bye.